three older sisters. The oldest is Andrea Meehan, who just had a baby and she couldn't make it with her husband David. His second sister, the elder one, Nicola, is teaching English in Colombia, so she couldn't make it. Ella is the third sister, older sister, and Christian. Ella is here. Ella, do you want to stand up and say hello to everyone, please? Ella is the third girl in the family, and of course Christian's the youngest. Christian, in case people don't know who you are, would you want to stand up and say hello, everybody, and just wave? That's Christian. Len, the manager, can we have the lights turned down a little bit for the speeches, please, at the request of the people who are going to be giving a speech? We're going to have Jill Devaney, who's Christian's mum, to start off the speeches, and thereafter we'll go down the list. Thank you very much.
Can you hear me? Thank you, Neville, for inviting me to say a few words at the celebration of our son's graduation. It's wonderful to see so many familiar faces and to reconnect with people I haven't seen in a long time. I'd like to start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we are celebrating, the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation, and pay respects to elders past, present and emerging. Christian Jack Joseph, I have loved being your mother. What a beautiful baby boy you were. Whilst I was awaiting your arrival, I spent several weeks staying with Neville's parents because I had lots of contractions and we were worried that you might turn up early. My wonderful mother-in-law, where's Mother Stella? Oh, there she is. She wouldn't let me lift a finger apart from looking after Ella, and she plied me with lots of delicious food, and as a result, I grew fat. I need to see. Then, when you were born, you got the benefit of all that rich milk I produced, making you gorgeously plump. You had little rolls and chubby cheeks, and you were the most content, cuddly baby imaginable until you weren't. Michelle remembers. At around 8 months of age, you got a virus that made you listless, and even it stayed after your symptoms were gone. So the ladies at church prayed for you to regain your robust good health, and I think they overdid it, because the next thing I knew, you were hell on wheels. Falling off bench tops and hitting your head, slipping in the shower and slicing your eyebrow, sticking foreign objects up your nose that had to be fished out in hospital, and the best one, swallowing a pen lid that made you projectile vomit and resulted in a trip to the Royal Children's Hospital with the Royal Flying Doctors Service. Ironically, that is how RPH had me down as your next of kin when you fell a full story onto concrete in Fremantle, in a Fremantle car park in the wee hours of one Sunday morning 20 years later. You weren't in any state to communicate with the doctors, so they looked on your file, and there I was with the same phone number, which they called at 6 a.m, and scared the bejesus out of me. Your beautiful brain was only saved by that man bun of dreadlocks that I hated until that moment. So yes, I loved being your mother, with the exception of the times you terrified me. You were always incredibly smart. You could read almost anything before you even went to kindy, and you enjoyed school until you didn't. when we moved back to Perth from Kalgoorlie, you were thriving at the little Catholic school, St Emily's. But then Ella had to move to another school when she was 7, so we moved them both to All Saints. You were not happy. You made friends with the naughty boys, and then you had a falling out with them, which somehow led you to you taking a butter knife to school to get them to back off, which got you into all sorts of trouble. And pretty quickly you were moved to Corpus Christi, where you were happy again because you loved your new teacher. However, this bliss was not to last. Your dad took you and Ella to the UK at the Easter school holidays after term 1. Unfortunately, when Neville was at the airport checking you in, he discovered that your passports had expired. And there was a mad rush to get new passports at great expense. But because that year there were lots of public holidays like we're just having now, so it took an extra week. So then Neville decided to stay in the UK for another week. And when you got back, your first experience of jet lag was dreadful. So you missed your first week of term 2. On returning to class, to your horror, your lovely teacher had been replaced by the Wicked Witch of the West, and she did not appreciate your attitude. You phoned me in desperation. "Mum, I need you to have a meeting with my teacher. She's horrible." I asked whether you'd talk to your dad. You said, "No way, he'll only get her to give me more homework." So I met his teacher and told her why he'd returned to school a week late and how you were upset about your teacher being replaced. She explained that the teacher you loved had let your class be very slack and that you were way behind on the curriculum and that she had been sent in to get you all back on track and that your behaviour in the classroom was not helping. I said that I'd ask you to cut her some slack, but if she cut you some slack too, I was sure she'd discover what a bright and talented boy you were. So that's what happened. You went from being teacher's pest to teacher's pet, and before long she was showing your work to the Parents and Friends Association. I think that's when your love of learning really kicked off. You saw teachers as human beings, not evil aliens, and as people who wanted to help you become your best self and not people who got off on making you miserable. Your academic performance went from strength to strength. You finished high school with the highest ATAR score in your year, won the Chevron Prize for best results in mathematics, physics and chemistry in the state. You then completed your undergraduate degree in music, whilst regularly doing gigs with your band, and I'm so glad that you have a strong interest in music because it will always help you alleviate the stress of being a doctor. And now, you have finished postgraduate medicine and commenced your first job. Well done. I'm incredibly proud of your achievements, but I'm even more proud of the beautiful man you have become. You're a humanitarian and an environmentalist, and we love to talk to each other about all sorts of things, from politics and current affairs and health, through to relationships and emotions. You make and keep friends easily, and you're a caring brother to Ella, Nicola and Andrea, and a loving uncle to Anna and now little Patrick. And you have a great rapport with my husband James. Most of all, I love that you love me so much. You're a true blessing, my son. Congratulations, and enjoy a career in a profession where you have great power to do good.
Thank you very much, Jill. It was a lovely speech.